Welcome aboard to podcast 21 in the series of the Voyage to Back Yonder. In the previous episode, we talked about how freeing it is to be able to do what you want to do every day, knowing that you are the only one in charge of that. You get to decide what each moment means to you, and you get to decide what your past continues to mean to you, or you get to decide to change that meaning in an instant. We ended the podcast asking ourselves what expectations we felt we were not currently meeting for others, and what expectations we felt others were not meeting for us. And then after we finished writing that long list, we asked ourselves, whose fault was it that those expectations were not being met? We may encounter a situation where, two people have a belief that contradicts each other. One person might believe that everyone should invite them out to do things and initiate contact with them, and the other person might feel the same. So then each person can be choosing to be upset that the others are not reaching out to them. Now, that situation could be solved easily if everyone just reached out to people they're wanting to interact with. And if that other person doesn't want to, then we just stop waiting around for them and find others among the billions of people on the planet who would want to hang out. One person's opinions or choices doesn't need to define what experience I have here on the planet. But again, what fun would that be if everything went smoothly? We'd probably grow bored after a while. Besides, I believe that is why we come here, to experience conflict and fear and all those delicious, uncomfortable emotions that come with it. And when we grow tired and bored of that blame game, and we're sick and tired of feeling judged as we judge others, we begin to search for something new, something more. There's no fault or blame when we're sitting in unconditional love, because there are no conditions, no expectations. There's only fault when a conditional love law has been broken. But these conditional love laws are all imaginary. Our fear ego makes them up, makes up all these expectations to keep us in the game of fear. And if we choose to let conditional love laws fade away, and instead yearn and search for unconditional love, we find it. We free ourselves. And in our freedom, we lose the desire to judge and police others because we are free. There's no need to compete with others because we find our perfection in the place of no expectations, no conditions for our lovability. Our whole journey coming here seems to be about experiencing smallness. And that requires us to forget about the Creator for a time as we get swept up into the 10,000 things of life. But eventually, we might have a moment that sparks us back to remembering the Creator. In that moment, we stop in our tracks. We turn around and we begin our voyage to back yonder. The world is full of those 10,000 things that are swarming around us, and it sometimes doesn't seem to take much for us to be drawn back into forgetting about the Creator. And that is when we steer off course and run into the storms of life. It seems prudent that we might want to stay awake as often as we can in order to stay on course as much as we can. And if we have an expectation of ourselves to stay awake 100% of the time while we're here on the planet, well, we know that expectations are conditional and attempts at confirming or validating our acceptability and lovability. Expectations equal disappointment. So if we have these expectations, then we're back asleep in the world of conditional love. It's like being in those dreams that seem so real until something happens in it that allows us to realize that this isn't reality. It's like those nights where, we have a dream, we're searching for something all night long and we can't find it. But the moment we awaken from the dream, a feeling of relief comes over us as we reconnect with reality. So how do we stay awake throughout our day? For me, I find that trying to wake up from this dream world as soon as possible after I wake up physically in the morning sets my course for the day in awareness of the Creator. And I go about this in a few different ways. First, I purpose that the moment I'm aware that I have woken up in the physical world, that I say good morning to the Creator. And I say it out loud. I let the love I have for him or her flow out of my heart like a giant hug. I take a deep breath. Just relax into the arms of my Creator. I am my beloved's, and he or she is mine. I feel the unconditional love flow from the Creator into my being and fill me up. No fear exists in that moment. I have everything I need right here, right now, even before I start my day. Then as I move into my day, I purpose to keep focused on that unconditional love as much as I can. I ground myself in that love by creating some morning rituals or habits that become a part of this character I'm playing. Now, you, of course, can create whatever morning habits you would like that spark your inner love. I'll share one thing I do now, and maybe next episode I might share more of what I do to try to stay planted in love throughout the day. So for me, I start off with a big cup of coffee, sitting in front of my computer, just opening up to the Creator and my angels or guides, friends from the other side, to see what messages of unconditional love I'm going to post on my Brudda Zen Facebook page. They're good reminders for me, and perhaps they're good reminders for other people. And I usually post one new message inspired by today's love flow. And then I look back in the memories area of Facebook to see what post I shared in the past that jumps out at me. And then I share that one, sometimes two. And it seems that sharing unconditional love as soon as I can seems to get my spiritual blood flowing. A lot like a workout in the morning gets your physical blood moving. And I'll admit that it's easier in the silence of the morning to be connected to unconditional love than when we step outside of our cocoon into the amusement park of fear, full of its scary rides and screaming customers. I can pretty much guarantee that we're going to become distracted and pulled out into the storm at some point during the day. There's nothing wrong with that. After all Why come to an amusement park if we aren't going to amuse ourselves? But when we grow bored of riding the rides over and over again, that is when we can have reminders and flags that trigger us to come back to the center after we have been drawn out into the storm. Just like the bright and shiny things that draw us out into that storm, we can have brighter and shinier things that get our attention to bring us back into awareness. Now, I've mentioned throughout my podcasts about putting reminders all around me. And those can be on my bathroom mirror, on my truck mirror, on the refrigerator, by my computer at home and work computer, certain piece of jewelry that catches my eye, vibrating alarms on my phone, calendar pop-up alarms on my computer at work. There's just so many ways if we use our imagination. And the biggest thing is no one knows you like you do. So use those things that work for you. The last flag I will mention in this podcast is using the feeling of uncomfortable emotions. And I purpose that when I feel that prick of fear in my heart, it becomes an alarm that I've fallen asleep at the helm. The more silent we become in our mind as we ground ourselves in unconditional love, the noisier fear emotions become. When we start our journey, fear is our norm. But the longer we're on the path returning to back yonder, unconditional love starts taking over as our norm. If we're in a dance club with loud music, other noise doesn't really stand out. But if we're sitting in silence and someone accidentally turns on the radio to an acid rock station at high volume, it stands out just a bit. So until next episode, take some deep breaths. How can you find your silence? You know you better than anyone else. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Think about the times when you have felt most at peace. What was happening? What were you doing? Have you done that lately? If you haven't, maybe you could make your peace a priority today. I have found that if I don't make my inner peace a priority, my body will make it a priority for me. Unconditional love is all around you. The Creator is right here with us. The Creator is right there with you. Feel the love, my friend. Enjoy your voyage. I love you.